Good morning. This is the Blainswell webcast that can be found each week on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You get more information and listen to previous shows on our website, which is behind me, blainsworld.net. I'm your host, Blaine Greenfield, and I'm here in my Zoom studio in Fairview, North Carolina. Each week, we focus on positive news and information about people and organizations in both Western North Carolina and throughout the country. And toward that end, it's my pleasure to introduce my guests today, and they are Heather Fender and Chris Ivesdal. Is that sort of
Yeah, that'll work, Blaine.
okay? Part of Employees of the Month Improv Collective. I just love that name. And thanks for being my guest, guys. You can feel free to wave to all your fans and friends who are watching this. So, okay, fantastic. And you were telling me, Chris, off the air, about your two twin daughters. So you have, they'll be lucky because you can have them watch the show afterwards. So if they don't get enough of you, they can see you on the internet. I should mention that Heather and Chris are part of Employees of the Month, an improv comedy troupe that turns awkward office energy into big laughs. They perform everywhere from local breweries to improv festivals, and today we're diving into how this hilarious group keeps the comedy fresh, fast, and totally unscripted. And the nice thing about this, Heather, is the first time you've performed on the Blaine's World show, so this is, a first for you. Um, I should mention I know Heather a little bit in that she's been on the show before, but Chris, since I haven't met you before, in terms of a child, you grew up where?
Oh, Blaine, I grew up in a military family, so we moved all over the place. But Western North Carolina is the first place I chose to put roots down. And I've been here close to 30 years. So, yeah,
And
this
so,
is my home. Yeah.
okay, so when you were a kid, though, growing up, moving all around the country, coming to North Carolina uh, a bunch of years ago, did you always know you wanted to be in improv?
Yes. Um, I will say I've always loved performing arts. And I think that's where the my connection to improv and my want for becoming a better improv performer came from. Yeah, so maybe not specifically improv, but I knew I was looking for something, and I think I found it.
So how did you get into improv in the first place?
You know, one day I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw an ad for an improv class at Hendersonville, of all places. I live in Fletcher, which is in between Hendersonville and
Sure.
Asheville, but on a whim, I decided to take the class and fell in love with it. I had a great teacher. Her name's Heather Fender, and she's taught me a lot, and it's been a great ride.
And that's, by the way, a compliment to both of you, but especially to Heather, because that's the biggest compliment you can make to somebody, that once you study with them or work with them, to eventually then, become part of their troupe or something like that. So that's really cool. So Heather took this course at Hendersonville, and it was just a course for the first time. Were you thinking at the time you wanted to do something with it, or you just want to learn what it was about?
No, Wayne. I work as a technical trainer in manufacturing, and I'm always working on my communication skills. And I thought improv would help me hone those skills a little bit better. And I had no aspiration for continuing with improv in a troupe form. I thought maybe I'd take another class. And I was approached by Heather after the first class about possibly getting together with some of the members of the troupe periodically to practice. And that evolved into us performing shows and having a lot of fun together. Yeah.
And you raised a really good point, Chris, about the fact that this is a skill. So you learned just because you want to pick it up, but it's a very useful skill. You said, even in terms of work. Do you use it at work?
Yes. Yeah. I think that improv really helps you connect to folks and helps you remain present. Like I have to definitely use that skill set of listening. And I think one of the big rules of improv is to always make your partner look good. I know that's important for us as a troupe to make sure that we're compensating for another partner's needs, listening to them, giving them what they need for to be successful. These are skills that anybody could use any day. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask you, since you said it, you said you can use it at work. Is this skill you can use as a parent as well?
Oh yeah. I need everything in my toolkit as a parent as possible. I think I told you I've got twin
Right.
11-year-old daughters. They're going to middle school next year, and I'm constantly honing my skills with them. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Had the same kinds of questions. I know you from a variety of capacities, and you continually amaze me because I didn't know you did improv. I know you as a teacher. I know you as a music director, and so impressed with your work. And all of a sudden, one day I'm scrolling through Facebook, Chris, and said, "Wow, she's doing an improv show." I said, "Wow, what was this all about? How did you get into improv?" Uh,
Well, in college, I was a stage manager for an improv troupe at App State, and then um, came to Hendersonville, was teaching, got involved at Hendersonville Little Theater, and I had directed Annie Jr., and that was my first show directing there. And the group of folks that I was directing, they were just amazing people. And we discovered that we all had a love for improv. So we said, hey, let's try it. Let's put a troupe together. Let's do this. So we created Gag Order, which was Hendersonville's premier, very first improv troupe. We were together about 10 years, performing here in Hendersonville and Waynesville, that generally that area. And then we kind of morphed into a murder mystery comedy dinner theater improv troupe, which was really crazy but super fun. And we did that for a few years, and then everybody kind of moved away. They all went different directions, and then Hendersonville Theater approached me about teaching classes for improv because they knew my background, obviously, because the gag order coming out of Hendersonville Theater. And I said, sure. And so I started teaching. I've taught 4 classes, I think 4 classes with them. I'm about to teach 2 more on my own. Um, and just met some really great, talented people who were interested in starting a troupe. They started and then invited me, actually. So I didn't start this troupe. Employees of the Month was the rest of them. And then they said, hey, come on out. Do you want to play with us? And I was like, yeah, of course. I miss it. I miss playing. I love teaching it, but I love doing it as well.
I was going to ask you that. So, out of all the things you've done, and you've certainly done a lot of different things, do you have a favorite thing? In other words, Chris, I know her as a music director. I know her as a teacher. I know her all these different things. Do you have now a teacher of improv, now a performer in improv? And I've seen you, right? I've seen you as a performer too, right? I've seen you on
Yep.
stage as well. So, out of all those things, do you have a favorite thing you do?
Uh, I, uh, I just I love it all so much. I love directing. Um, I'd say that's probably my first love, and then performing. Improv is my second.
And the reason, Chris, it's kind of interesting that having said that, I ask a lot of folks, especially who've been actors before, and they won't tell you the truth, but the truth is that she doesn't have to memorize the lines that way.
That's right.
So but that's kind of cool because that ties into improv, because right, the improv, the whole thing, you don't have to memorize anything. Is that correct?
Correct.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about, let's take it from the top then, and Chris can jump in as well too. But so you teach improv. If I were to take an improv course with you, what do I learn?
Well, there are basic rules. A lot of people will talk to you about saying yes and, which is the concept of accepting offers from your stage partner and then building on those offers. There is,
Wait,
I
let me
teach,
just jump on that one. That's kind of a good thing to jump in. Can I maybe just I put Chris on the spot a little bit, but give me a quick example of that? So if we were talking and you were doing an improv sketch, I guess so that's what they call it, a sketch,
a game.
Yeah.
a
Mhm.
game, and that's kind of cool. So you were doing the yes and. It's definitely not yes but, right? You never say yes but. Yes and. So can you just show me with Chris, how does that work? If you can just a quick example.
Yeah, so in most cases, Blaine, you'd get a suggestion from the audience, and that really is what drives improv, and that really holds it to be authentic, is that we're interacting with the audience. They're giving a suggestion on a scene that we're going to build together. And then one of us is going to make a strong offer to the other one. So I'm going to begin creating a world between the two of us, and it could be a relationship or a place that we're at. And you're going to go along with the ride, and we're going to work
Right.
together on
Well, let
this.
me just, so for example, so you take from the audience, take a suggestion.
Mhm.
Is that it? And so what kind of suggestion on this one are you looking for, Chris?
It could be, we'll usually drive the form of the suggestion, but it could be a relationship that's unorthodox, a place, that two people would be in, something that's going to get a scene started. And then
Okay,
together as partners, we're going to work together.
I got
Um,
it.
yeah,
So, yeah,
to
so
make
I
this
would say,
reality.
since we talked about it, I'll put you on the spot, guys. I'll say that this is a scene where you're in improv class, you're taking a class, and Chris, you're the instructor, and excuse me, you're the student, and Heather's the teacher, and you're the absolute worst student she's ever had in her life. You know, it's just, she couldn't believe what a poor student you were. So could you run with that a little bit?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
Uh,
Who starts it typically?
it's totally up to the
Two?
yeah, whoever feels it, whoever has something to say.
Okay.
um, I would probably say something like, "Welcome back to class, Chris."
This isn't a class, Heather. Well, that would be an example of me no-anding, or
Yeah.
knowing. Yeah.
Wait, knowing what? That would
Uh,
be,
that's the opposite of yes and.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So are we building a bad scene or are we building a good scene?
We're
Yeah.
going to build it's a typical scene, if you
Oh, a
will.
typical scene. Okay. All
So
right.
Heather's the teacher, I got it. And she welcomes you, Chris. Go ahead.
Okay. Um, I'm so excited to learn today, Heather. You're an amazing teacher. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, you say that every week. And yet, really, I hate to say this, but I'm not seeing any growth in you.
Well, you know, Heather, you gave me a D last time, and I have to tell you, I've been bringing you candy every week. I thought we could do a little better. Um, that was my expectation.
Well, it's an improv class. Candy doesn't really come into it. Um, to really get a better grade, you have to actually follow the rules of the games. You know.
Like, do you want me to take you out for pizza and beer afterwards? Like, how am I going to get my grade up? I'm expecting to do well in this class.
So, okay, great question. Fabulous question. How are you going to get your grade up? Here's how. Here, you ready? Okay, here's how you're going to do it, Chris. You're going to do what I tell you to do. You're going to do the games. You're going to play the games. You're going to play them within the rules. Follow the rules, Chris. That's it. Just follow the rules.
I know this isn't a good time to tell you this, Heather, but I'm kind of an introvert. Wanted to come and just watch. I didn't really know I'd be participating in this class.
Dude, you paid $190 for this class. Like, you just wanted to sit on the sidelines? That's not what improv's about. You got to jump in there, man.
Well, I found the most expensive class because I thought that guaranteed a good grade. I was hoping $190 would buy me an A. Yeah.
Let me just jump in. I'm loving it. So if you're doing a skit like this, so how many people can be in this skit? Is there a limit?
And no, we have 6 members in our troupe. And so any of them could jump in at any time. And it really depends on the rules of the game that we're playing. So with improv, there's 2 types. There's short form improv and long form improv. And our troupe does both forms. Short form is the kind of thing that you would see on Whose Line Is It Anyway? Very quick, fast paced games that are very rule driven, that have like specific rules that you have to follow, that kind of helps give it the funny. And then long form games are more character relationship based, that build scenes. It's like making a play from scratch, and it'll never ever be done again. And it can last 20 minutes to an hour.
Give me an example. Not you're going to do it now, but give me an example of a long form improv sketch.
Um, so we actually, at our last rehearsal, we played this game called Living Room, and it's the troupe sits around and we just act like we're in a living room, and we just start having a conversation based on an audience member's suggestion, which was in-laws in our case. And so we all just started telling stories about our in-laws that we have had, and from those stories, we created scenes. And so we had like a semicircle of us talking. And then when one person finished a story, a couple of us would get up and perform something inspired by that story, not recreating the story, just inspired by.
Now, I haven't seen it yet, but there's also what troops do musical improv too, or
Yes.
I haven't seen that. Do you guys do any musical improv?
No.
Because that's a whole different thing, right?
Yeah, so you have to have first to do musical improv, you have to have someone who can actually play music for you. And
Okay.
we don't have anybody in our troupe that feels confident enough in that to be able to just improv a song on guitar or piano or something like that. Nor do I think, I don't know about you, Chris, but I don't feel confident enough to start singing in an improv song.
But you certainly have the musical background, in terms of being able to play instruments or sing.
Well, I direct musicals. That's my strength. um,
But let other people do the singing.
yes, yes.
So,
I'm very shy about that.
but Chris raised a really good point. I just want to ask Heather as the teacher about this. But so I guess there are improv classes you can take in college or in high school or community ed like Chris did. But do you teach it, Heather, do you also teach in school improv?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I guess people can fail improv, that'd be pretty embarrassing. But poor Chris, he raised a good point. He wants to sit back and just enjoy it, have a good time.
Yeah.
Now he's being told that he has to work. But in classes, people can fail improv.
No, not in my class. um, because I teach middle school and our focus is on exploring. Um, we're called exploratories. We're not electives. The kids don't get to choose my class.
Oh, really
Everyone
cool.
gets me. So we explore the world of theater, and improv is one of the things that we explore. And so it's a very low stakes. Like I teach them how to play. We play games. They have one group performance, and it's basically. Do you remember when you were a little kid and you like would play pretend and you were the knight and you were storming the castle or you were the cowboy, and that's what improv is.
Uh,
That's what it is.
I don't know about Chris, but I was always crushed Chris in those games. I never got the girl at the end. I was hoping, if I could create this, let it be created the way I want it to be, but never worked out. Fast forward, guys, and so Chris takes the course, and kind of honored Chris that you were asked to be chosen to be participant in this group. Did you ever think that would happen when you were taking the course?
No, no. I thought I'd be learning and exploring and having a lot of fun. And I turned out that all three of those things happened and I continued on. Yeah. I guess part of the thing of learning is it's a lifelong project, So if you find something that you're curious about and that brings you joy, and you have the ability to continue that journey on with others, that's amazing. And I think that's what keeps me together. With the group and constantly pushing myself to learn more about the skill and the art
Give
of
an
it.
example, if you would, of how you could use it at work or how you have used it at work.
Oh, at work, gosh. So you're always have the ability to get a question out of left field, and it's remaining. You must know that, Blaine. Yeah. So remaining present, listening, thinking about what the other person is looking for you. I see a lot of folks that sometimes will end up on autopilot. You
Right.
ask a question, you get an answer that doesn't really relate to the question that was being asked. These are all things that don't work well or make really bad scenes in improv and help you to navigate situations that maybe are a little awkward or different. I think those are some of the things that improv can bring.
It's
Also, I love as an audience member of improv, I love to see the connection between people. It always reminds me of how we're connected in different ways than we generally think. There's more connection points than we know. And being curious about that is something that really drives, I guess, my improv skill set as well.
It's funny you mention that because one of the things I really dislike as a consumer is to have employees, and that's why I love the name of your troupe, the Employee of the Month Improv. But I hate when you go to a restaurant, for example, and the employee's on the autopilot. In other words, I don't know if you folks see it. You go to a restaurant, and the server will ask a question, and before you answer the question, they're on to the next table. It doesn't matter what they say. Or I used to get my hair cut and a woman was shampooing my hair before, and she would ask, "Well, how are your children?" I don't have two children; I only have one child. But it was just all she did was just automatically ask the same question every time I went there, and it didn't feel, it just felt like she was doing her job, but not with any interest, or she wasn't listening.
Mhm.
So I guess what I'm asking, so the real value seems to be improv. Is you going to become a better listener? Would you say that's true, Heather?
I definitely think that that's a huge part of it is not only that though, but also becoming more confident in your own ideas and your own um, I guess your own participation. Because before improv, I wasn't always sure of my performing. Like I wasn't confident in myself. But after improv and after teaching it for so long, I just see people blossom and realize, oh my gosh, I have good ideas. And it's really a beautiful thing to see when people recognize that about themselves, that they are creative individuals and that what they have to offer is worthy.
And so if you would then fast forward to now, you have this troupe, been around for a year or so. It started before you were there, but how did they come up with the name, or what's the significance of the name? I love the name, Employee of the Month Improv Collective. How that evolved?
Chris?
I
Yeah,
don't
Heather,
really
do you
know the
know?
backstory, but I know that I'm an employee of the month. So I figured I fit with the group. Heather, do you have any context for the backstory on that?
So the people that were in the troupe were all members of my very first adult improv class at Hendersonville Theater, and they chose that name for just one of like the end of the class performance, and then it just stuck, and they just kept it, so they loved it, and we all just kind of folded into it, and it really has become our thing. Everything, our logo is an employee of the month thing. We do programs with like rate us for employee of the month kind of
I,
stuff.
I think it's great. I mean, it's pretty cool to say, hey, you're Employee of the Month. What's not to like about it? So
Yeah.
talk about what people have. So you mentioned off there you have an upcoming show coming up. Talk about that, but more significantly then, what will people see at that show?
So that is August 1st at 35 Below at Asheville Community Theater. And we have two shows. We have an 8 o'clock show and we have a 10 o'clock show. At the 8 o'clock show, we're going to be doing short form improv. So it's going to be more shorter games that are really fast paced, super funny. And then at our 10 o'clock show, we're going to do one long form. So it's going to be 1 hour long or possibly 2 half-hour games. We haven't we haven't quite decided on that yet, but it is. You can get your tickets at 35 Below on the website at Asheville Community Theater, and they're just an hour. Each show is just an hour.
So somebody could see both if they want to. It wouldn't be
Yes,
too much.
absolutely.
And so we were talking off there, so they're going to see either the long form or the short form. I want to put you both on the spot again. You were mentioning an example of, I think, so what is it? There are exercises or there are forms or techniques? What do you call them that people learn in improv?
We I call them games. We
Okay.
learn the games. Yeah, that's appropriate.
And how many games are there to learn?
um, Chris, I think,
Oh,
do you remember what Addie said?
I don't recall how many games that we know that we play.
Oh, well, just in the first set,
Hmm.
I think there's 7 or 8
Okay.
games.
I'd say that's a good estimate. Yeah.
But I'm just curious, in general, in improv world,
Oh,
are there like hundreds or thousands?
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So I guess it'd be a fun thing. You could even invent your own form
Oh,
or something like
yeah.
that.
And we have actually.
Have you?
We have invented at least 3, right, Chris?
Yeah, I'm thinking specifically of Small Town. That's a long form game where we kind of act out characters in a small town and kind of incorporate some drama, which is fun. I really enjoy that game. Yeah.
Okay. So it's instead of the show Our Town, they come to you guys can see Small Town instead
That's
of
right.
Our Town.
It's
And
fitting for
so
Hendersonville for sure. Yeah.
exactly. Well, so I was asking you, so an example of I guess it's a game you were, was it the alphabet game? Is that that's
Mhm.
what it's called? And could you kind of show us an example of what the alphabet game is all about?
Sure. So in this game, Chris and I are going to perform a scene based on your suggestion, Lane. And what we need from you is just an odd relationship that two people could have.
By the way, what if so you're asking for that
Mhm.
as the people running the troupe, do you ever not get a suggestion or do some groups not play with you?
Sometimes we have audiences who are a little reticent to give suggestions, but we do a really good job of warming people up and like teaching them how to give us suggestions because that's part of being a troupe is educating your audience because not a lot of people understand how to give like they're going to say pineapple like that's going to be the suggestion like it's always somebody says pineapple I don't know why but yeah, we definitely have to teach people how to give those suggestions.
So I'm trying to think out loud that something wouldn't be too inappropriate, but this is two people getting together. Is this the first time you
It
getting
doesn't
together?
matter. All you have to do is just give us the relationship and we'll take it from there.
Okay, so I'll put Chris in the middle of this on the spot. So Chris, you're going for an appointment with your proctologist, okay? And
Okay.
it's a new proctologist, and it's Dr. Heather, for the first time. And you're a
Gotcha.
little thrown by the fact you didn't know she was going to be a woman, but she is. And so that's the situation I'm throwing you into. You're going to
Okay.
your yearly visit to the proctologist.
Okay. And then what else we need is a letter of the alphabet that is not A or not Z.
Okay, so we'll start with D.
D. Okay.
D as in David. Yeah. Okay, so take it away.
Okay. Dear, dear, dear Chris, welcome in. I'm so glad that you're here for your proctology. I'm Dr. Heather.
Everyone's been asking me to come see you, Heather, and I hope you're the best.
Forget about it. I am the best.
Good gravy. I guess I'm in the right spot.
How have you been feeling lately, sir?
I've been feeling a little under the weather, and there's something that I need you to check.
Just tell me what it is and I'll do my best.
Okay. It's kind of in an odd spot, but you're a doctor. You know you can do this.
Look, just bend over, cough, we'll be fine.
Ma'am, excuse me? I thought we'd warm up a little bit before I got going with that.
No, I have 17 other patients to see today. Let's get going.
Okay, what is this? An assembly line? Like, I'm a person. I have feelings.
People do have feelings, and I recognize that, and I'm sorry if I seemed abrupt.
Quit. You're just being nice now. What kind of patient care is this?
Right, right. You're sorry. I mean, you're right. I'm so sorry. Okay, look. Tell me about your problem.
Silently? Between us? I don't want anybody else to know about this.
Tell me.
Unfortunately, I don't have the words for this. This is new for me.
Very well. Could you possibly maybe write it down?
Welcome? I don't feel welcome here anymore. I, I'm starting to get a little anxious.
Uh, X-ray. Nurse, get the X-ray in here.
You, you can call all the people you want, Heather, but this should be a private appointment.
Xenia, just stay outside. I'll take this.
All right. What do I need to do? You said touch my toes and pull what down?
Believe me, this is not as difficult as you're making it. Just cough.
Clearly, this is getting a little dramatic, and I don't know if I'm ready for it.
Darn it, man. I quit.
And that's the game, right? Damn,
That's
that
the
was good.
game.
Wait, even and so you're not supposed to use which two letters aren't you supposed to use? A.
No, well, we only say to the audience, don't give us A or Z because it's too easy. Like those, it's the beginning and the end of the alphabet. We like to start somewhere in the middle and then just go all the way around.
But like, are any letters the Z? I was impressed with. Like, are
We
any letters harder than others?
Oh, X and Z are the worst.
X, but I guess it's almost like Scrabble. You have certain things in the back of your mind that you can always throw in there. But I
Yeah,
was, what was it, Xena, or you call it whatever? I was
yeah.
really impressed with that. And that I thought would be a hard one. Do you ever get stuck like in a situation? I thought that would be kind of an interesting situation. Do you ever get a situation that you have trouble with?
Chris?
Yeah, you know, there are all, yeah, there are suggestions sometimes that come out of left field. Sometimes you begin a scene and your partner may think that you're going in a different direction, so you have to get realigned and make sure you're working together. Yeah, there's all kinds of difficulties that could happen, but that's what keeps you sharp and that's what keeps you practicing, right? For all those random odd moments. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I guess that's the advantage to having a troop of more than two people, right? Because if either two of you are stuck, like on a scene, do you all six come up together at the same time, or sometimes only two, or how do you do that?
Usually, I don't think we do a lot of scenes. Well, we play one game called Survivor where there's all five people are in it. But for the most part, we keep our scenes between two and three characters simply because if you get more than that, sometimes it's hard for the audience to follow and to hear what's going on. Whereas we may have created this world where multiple people are talking at the same time, the audience may not be able to follow that.
Who do you think should see this show upcoming? Who's it geared to?
Everybody.
Mm.
We are, I mean, it's, gosh, we've performed for kids, not just kids, but we've had kids in the audience. We have performed at the Asheville Improv Fest. So people who know improv will enjoy it. People who don't know improv will enjoy it because we do take the time to educate the audience, as I was saying. If you like Whose Line Is It Anyway, you're going to love us. Yeah.
Any age appropriate thing for this?
Um, we we do not um we don't like give ourselves a rating or anything, but I guess if we'd had to, I'd say we're PG-13. Yeah.
But even a guy, can you believe a guy 76? It would
Oh,
be
you would
okay.
love it.
It would be okay for me to see it.
You would love it.
You know, Chris and I were kidding off the air. I'm 76 now, but most people don't think I'm a day older than 75, Chris. So it depends how you look at it too. Where do you see? So let's talk about, so you have this upcoming show. Anything else after this that you can share with, or that it's upcoming?
We don't have a firm date yet, but we're hoping towards the end of August to be performing again at Continuum Art Space in downtown Hendersonville. We just had a show there in the beginning of June. No, end of June, June 20th. And it was amazing. We had like 40 something people, and it was just a really great crowd and a really wonderful space.
And you mentioned that you have the shows that upcoming teaching in terms of other, if they want to learn improv from you, Heather, what's best bet?
Yes. The easiest thing to do is to just reach out to me, hkfender76@gmail.com. Or you can just follow us on socials at Employees of the Month Improv Collective. That's for both Facebook and Instagram.
I'm really glad you shared that, Heather, because it's very important, Chris. I like it to be able to distinguish between Heather Fender 76 versus 75 and 4 and 3, So if they want to reach you, it has to be, there were 75 other people before you, and then you got the
Yeah.
76. Chris, same thing too. If people want to track you down or follow your improv career or future improv career, is there a way to reach you?
Oh, I would say the Employees of the Month Improv Collective is a great way to follow me through Facebook or Instagram, as Heather said, or if they ever want to reach out for some advice I'm happy to reach out via email. Mine is civesdal@yahoo.com. Yeah, if anybody wanted to know a little bit more about improv or were curious, I'm happy to share some resources that I have. Yeah.
But the best bet you're telling me is so Employees Non Improv Collective, that's on Facebook, is on Instagram and the old social media too?
Yes, yes.
Last question, guys. So where do you see this going? So you've been doing this now for a bunch of years. Chris is still relatively new to this.
Hmm.
5 years down the road, do you see still doing this, or do you see yourself doing something different?
Blaine, I see us at the Super Bowl halftime show. I think we're going all the way, man. First
I,
improv group, yeah, to do it. Yeah.
But I love isn't that a great attitude, Heather? Wow.
It
Why
is.
not go for the top? Well, no, I have to stop you. We're laughing, but it's very impressed. Were you at the recent improv festival? You participated in that?
Yeah, Asheville does a yearly improv festival, and we got to be one of the first acts on opening night, and it was so fun, and there was so much energy in the room. It was amazing, yeah. And I think
Well,
we were one of the first acts to go. We did a little skit of long form, and I think it blew the audience away. I think they
well,
really enjoyed it.
I give you guys a lot of credit because I did a show, a webcast on it a couple months ago, and it was a very competitive thing. So they didn't just choose anybody. You had to apply for it. That's pretty exciting to have gotten part in that festival. Was that fun for you, Chris?
Yeah, it was a blast. It was so cool to have. Heather said a lot of our work is educating our audience. It was a paradigm shift to actually have an audience that was very educated,
Right.
an audience of our peers. Most of those folks have done improv or were going to be performing as well. So to hear all their accolades and their cheers and their laughter was so uplifting.
And it's probably fun for you also to then see other acts as well, at the same time too. Yeah, so very, very exciting. Anyway, guys, I'd like to thank you for being my guest on this edition of Blaine's World webcast. I'd also like to thank my producer, Cappy Tassetti, and hopefully we'll bump into each other somewhere down the road, if not sooner than that. And nice meeting you, Chris. Thanks for joining us. Heather, as always, a pleasure. And we'll be in touch.
Thank you, Blaine.
Thanks, Blaine.
This was great. Loved it. Thanks. Let me just see if I can pause you, or if not, I'm just going to say goodbye now. Thanks, guys.